Well, hello! This is Darren again, back for the second part of the spiritual imperfections. So today, the first one is going to be the spiritual imperfection of anger. I'm sure all of us have dealt with it one time, wanting to strangle somebody else. But spiritual anger, so there's several different things that we can get. I mean, there's many different ways we can get angry, but I'm just going to hit on a couple here that are kind of common um, as far as like spirituality goes, okay? So we can get this kind of spiritual wrath or anger um, after there is the delight and pleasure in spiritual things and they come to an end, and it's common for the person that they naturally become embittered and they bear the lack of spiritual sweetness with a bad grace, right? Just not good at all. They become easily irritated over the smallest matter. Like I remember this happening to me so many times. You know, being in meditation, feeling these sweet feelings, these just really high feelings of the massive power of God and the consciousness of God coming in and just really feeling one with God, and then going about through the rest of the day just getting irritated at the smallest little thing and feeling like, man, I want to go back to that place and just be in silence. You know, why do these people have to be bothering me? Why do I have to be in this situation here? And just getting really irritated. So that's pretty common when you begin on this road to um, really salvation and just following God. So another kind of spiritual anger is when the person's become irritated at the sins of other people. And you'll even sometimes, the person could even come up and reprove this person, and really just by, and really the goal of it is to set themselves up as the spiritual master. Like, you know, I am above you, I know all things, and, you know, I'm so much better than you are, and that is why you should listen to me. You know, just really just setting themselves up, which is also really, that's a form of pride along with the anger. And that's what that can do to us, and we really want to be careful of that, because if we're looking at what other people are doing, that means we're not looking at ourselves. If we're looking at the imperfections that others have, and we want to pick at what they have and set them straight, maybe it's really something within us, and that's all the time what it is that we don't see that we actually have an anger within us, an upset within us, and we need to deal with our own. Not worry about anybody else, just worry about ourselves. Focus on ourselves. And then we'll be able to take the mote out of our own eye, and we'll be able to help our brother when we do that. And then another way that you can have this spiritual anger is you just become afflicted with yourself when you observe your own imperfectiveness, and you just display this kind of impatience without a humility at all. So then you become angry at yourself because you're not where you want to be. And that is not being humble and being patient and waiting on God to purify you and wash you clean. And really just be in God's will. So those are the few that I have here for anger. Like I said, there's many more. But I figured I'd just hit on a few here that are common. The next is going to be spiritual gluttony. Stuffing my face full, right? Stuffing my spirit full of all of these things that just fill me up and give me what I want, and that's all that I want. So you're just finding a sweetness and a pleasure in spiritual exercises, and you strive more and more and more after these spiritual exercises because they have like a sweetness and a goodness about them. So you do this more than you seek after spiritual purity. And this gluttony continues to make you go to extremes, right? It makes you go to extremes of like doing bodily things, of like bodily fasts and starving yourself, and all of these extremes that you can go to. In a lot of religions, that they get into doing things like this. And they're really just lost focus on reason and spiritual purity, and it's because you're seeking after the sweetness. You want like a sweetness from these spiritual exercises, and this is nothing but a gluttony that you're caught in. So usually how God brings you with all of these imperfections, they're healed through temptations and aridities and many other trials that God's going to bring along this road. And the last and final spiritual imperfection that I have for today is envy, and this will actually be the final video. Yes, that's my rooster out there. He does that a lot. Quiet down, Rooster! Quiet! So the very final one is spiritual envy. Don't you know I'm trying to make a video here? Quiet, quiet, quiet. I'm going into spiritual imperfection here because of you. Okay, I need to center myself and not get into spiritual imperfection because I'm trying to make a video here and my animals are being loud. I just need to let it go. Just pretend it's not even there. Just allow it to recognize that it's not going to harm my video in any way, that it's actually going to add something to my video. So spiritual envy. These experiences, the people experience moments of displeasure at the hearing of the spiritual good of another person, right? You feel grief because you feel like you're being outdone on this road to spiritual perfection. So you prefer not to hear other people being praised. You have this envy within you. And like your annoyance grows and because other people aren't saying the same things about you. So, I've experienced pretty much all of these. And, I've even dealt with this one. I've seen it in my life. I saw other people being praised, and I would feel this envy rise up within me. Like, I want to be praised. How come nobody's praising me? I've done good things too. Look at me, look at me, look at me. But that is not the place of humility that God calls us to be. So we have to watch for these things because they can really continue to grow. And, they're going to be healed, though. God's going to bring ways for them to be healed. And if we continue to follow God's will and open up to God's will, these things are going to be healed through just day-to-day, actions. Whether it's meeting new people, meeting other people, and having to work through these things through that, or just, sitting and meditating, sitting and being with God and allowing these things to be let go. So that's all I have. Spiritual imperfections. That's the final video. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless. Bye-bye.